And that is the game. That is the Indiana Fever against the Chicago Sky rematch, where Indiana win again. Indiana win again. And that was simultaneously probably the best game I've seen from Caitlin Clark all year, including her 30-point game. And one of the worst games I'd seen from Angel Reese in her career. Not necessarily that Angel Reese was like terrible, because I think she was okay. The big problem was the second half. You could tell when it came to Angel Reese, the pressure got to her. She was like, that hit on Clark was hard. I don't think it was intentional. You can very clearly, the more you watch the replay, as bad as the hit was, you can see her look at the ball and try to swipe the ball. There's no way. Thank you, by the way, for $10. There's no way that it was intentional. Like, it's hard to hit someone that cleanly while not looking at them. So to start off the game, the Sky were terrible, but they got offensive boards. So like Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso had 10 offensive boards combined in the first quarter and 2 minutes. After that, for the rest of the game, it was only from 7 minutes to go in the second quarter to the end of the game, only 2 offensive boards. Up to that point, I think there was like 11. So pretty impressive rebounding. Cardoso and Reese early could not be lived with. They could not live with them inside. Especially early in the game, neither of Aaliyah Boston or Nalissa Smith boxed out. They did not care about getting rebounds. And then, like, apparently the Sky shot 62 times. Or sorry, the Sky shot 81 times to the Fever 62. Yeah. The amount of offensive rebounds, second chance points, and also things that don't get given as offensive rebounds, I think they had 40s in the first quarter where you just tap the ball out of bounds and give them a second chance. So it was extremely, it was a game where the Fever were playing much better in the overall scheme of the game, but the Sky were able to hang in the game from just hustle. They were able to hang in the game from the hustle in general. As well as that, we got a lot of max contract layups from max contracts. Erica Wheeler missed max contract herself, was missing a lot of, she blew like 3 open layups, which isn't great. Katie Lou Samuelson picked up 2 fouls in the first half. Harrison traveled twice and she picked up 2 fouls. I don't know why. And by halftime, Caitlin Clark had a decent first half. She had 9 points. I think was 4 of 6 maybe from the field. She had 9 points, 1 of 3 from 3. And like Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, both of those had very solid first halves. In the second half was when those guys like really took over. So if you're looking at the points, 15 for Nalissa Smith, 19 for Aaliyah Boston, 17 for Kelsey Mitchell, 23 for Caitlin Clark. Like, that is really, really well-rounded scoring for the entire team. And they did put up, 91 points. For the Chicago Sky, especially down the stretch, Marina Mary's killing it. Kennedy Carter is a first-half player. As much as she hit a couple of shots, like I think she had 8 in the first quarter. I think she had 13 in the first half. Kennedy Carter, whenever she's on the floor for the first time, she goes and absolutely blitzes teams. And like, teams can't deal with her. But as the game goes on, she kind of gets worse and worse and worse. But when it came to this game right here, this was Christy Sides. Can we not insult a player right here? Can we not insult a player? Like, I'm not taking that. Like, oh wait, did I just see somebody? No. Either way, like, all right, chat, you're gone. I've just been reading the chat. Chat, you're gone. So, basically, yeah, we had a game where Christy Sides before the game was talking about how they were going to go into Aaliyah Boston a lot. They did not go into Aaliyah Boston once. Like, sorry, not like Aaliyah Boston got the ball and she went to the basket, but like the offense did not start with a low post pass to Aaliyah Boston. Maybe once or twice in the entire game. They ran that to perfection. Cardoso was unable to come up and help off that pick and roll. Neither of Cardoso or Harrison were able to do anything in the pick and roll. And this is the type of game that everyone's been looking for the whole year, for Aaliyah Boston to actually set proper screens. Because now, Aaliyah Boston, this is the best game she had. This is the best she has rolled, and it's the best she's sealed. She had stopped rolling to the free throw line. She literally rolled to the basket, or she would roll and kind of wait a couple of seconds to see what was on for Clark, and Clark was hitting her. A lot of times, she would kind of come off a screen, and Aaliyah Boston would just seal. Clark would throw it into space, she would get the ball and get the layups. That is the two-man game that everybody expected. That's the two-man game that everyone expected when Caitlin Clark was drafted a team. And this is what we expected offensively. This is still a garbage defensive team. This is still an absolutely garbage defensive team. Turnovers-wise, they still turn the ball over quite a bit. Caitlin Clark with 5, who gives a damn? 9 assists. 5 turnovers is fine, especially again, one of her turnovers was Dana Evans had 2 hands on her jersey and she kind of pushed Dana Evans off to get her hands off her jersey. It's a ridiculous turnover either way. Still counts on the stat sheet. But Kelsey Mitchell does not like to pass the ball. But in Kelsey Mitchell's defense, she may not touch the ball for 4 offenses in a row, but when she does touch the ball, it doesn't let it affect her. Caitlin Clark, one thing I really didn't like in the first half and the start of the third quarter is she shot a few frustration threes. And this is not like the one she hit in the third where she kind of dribbled down in rhythm behind the back, hit the shot. It's like when she hasn't touched the ball in a few possessions in a row and she just catches it and lets it fly. She does not hit frustration threes, which is annoying. Katie Lou hit some big shots in that game. Lexi Hull, her best game by a mile. You see this? You see Christy Wallace? Just sit her. Please just sit her. Lexi Hull plays defense. Is she the greatest shooter in the world? No. Is she the greatest offensive player in the world? No. But she will actually play defense, whereas Christy Wallace does not play that end of the floor. Lexi Hull will actually go and play defense, which is a very important thing. And hopefully, we're looking at a rotation of, Christy Wallace can come off the bench, sure. Erica Wheeler is the worst max contract player I've ever seen. But I want to give credit where credit's due to Christy Sides. She basically got the team. Everything she said in the media, she was she was talking about how they were going to run through Aaliyah Boston. Everything was through Boston. They ran everything through Caitlin Clark today. That is how you play Caitlin Clark. Even though she shot well today, other days she might have shot 4 of 11 and had 13 points, but it's still how you play with her. Because she got 9 assists. She got 9 assists, 2 or 3 hockey assists, and she would have had her first double-double had Kelsey Mitchell not fumbled the full court pass. But it is what it is. That was the best all-around game she's played. Aaliyah Boston is getting in better shape every game. Aaliyah Boston got, I think, 4 points from running the floor, which is something we haven't seen. So she's in better shape every single game. So, we're looking at a team that's actually figuring it out. So if you want to look at the Fever's last couple of games, they are genuinely, an image, the Fever are, let's try to see what the Fever are in general. I think they've won 4 of their last 6, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, for the Indiana Fever, they have won 4 of their last 6. Am I looking at tickets? So since the first game they won, the Sky, they won 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. Yeah, they've won 4 of their last 6 games. And if we want to look at the standings, they're now in the 8th seed in the conference. Is there a standings? I'm on Fever. Either way, standings. So the Chicago Sky go to 4-9. The Indiana Fever go to 5-10. So the Indiana Fever, record-wise, go into that 8th slot. They're in the playoffs right now and in form, which is crazy. Which is absolutely crazy. A team that genuinely have looked incompetent at times are in the playoffs. And I got to give credit where credit's due to Christy Sides. I've got to give credit where it's due because she said all the things. She said all the right things before the game in order to make sure that there wasn't too much pressure being put on the Fever, that everyone was expecting. There wasn't too much pressure being put on Caitlin Clark herself. Everyone was expecting Caitlin go stand in the corner for another game. And she actually game planned and said, you know what, Aaliyah Boston's not going to do anything at Cardoso. Let's get her in pick and rolls. I got to give credit where credit's due to Christy Sides. I still think she is completely unqualified for this job. I would still question her competence to coach at this level, but fair play to her. She coached a good game. Other than taking Caitlin Clark off when she was hot in the third quarter, which made no sense, at least she put her on 90 seconds later. So, for this game, one of the biggest takeaways as well is that it's very clear that the Indiana Fever played the game, Chicago Sky played the occasion. The Chicago Sky, Angel Reese showed up in her Joker shoes. Angel Reese had the worst half. Her second half was the worst half she has had in her career, in her professional career so far. All of these players got so hyped up at the start of the game that when it came to going, when the going got tough, closing out games, the team that played the game, did what they always did, and the team that played the occasion took a lot of dumb, crazy shots and a lot of shots that didn't go in. So, in general, I thought it was a really good game. A really, really good game. Two pretty bad teams, but it was a fun game to watch. And I was very impressed with everybody on that Fever team, from Aaliyah Boston to Katie Lou when she was playing, to Kelsey Mitchell to Lexi Hull, and especially Caitlin Clark. For the Chicago Sky, I thought Marina Mabry really stepped up after missing a shot in the last game. Dana Evans hit some big shots down the stretch, but I will say that it was a bit of a struggle for Angel Reese, a bit of a struggle in her game in general, and hopefully she learns from it. She's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. I'm still very, very confident that Reese is going to win Rookie of the Year. But Caitlin Clark showed that in the right situation, when Caitlin Clark is allowed to play her game, that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about, regardless of who wins Rookie of the Year, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about who is the best player. It is Caitlin Clark. Because Caitlin Clark has had 4 or 5 games where she has just been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. And this has been one of them.